I've got a better question. You know, as when you say that before.
Yeah,
So say now the storm is here. You know,
Yeah.
we're approaching the storm.
Yeah.
You now have to ride it, or you have to basically go somewhere else, or find. You know, where are you now?
Pause, man.
Where I don't get
No,
the
but
storm's here.
so
The
basically,
storm's here.
the storm's here.
Yeah.
You're approaching it. You either ride it, or you go away somewhere else and you find somewhere offshore and you basically go and seek rescue, or you go and ride it, you firm it, and you go across and you get to the other land where you need to go.
I'm riding that storm, man. I'm riding.
So basically, you're basically backing this manager no matter what.
No, for me, like look.
No, but it is though. You're basically going on a treacherous condition. It's treacherous. It's a lot. It's wet. It's wet.
No, you're riding. You're riding unconditionally.
You're riding on a condition. It's wet. It's stormy. It's miserable. You know what?
No, but the thing is, Saeed. No, but my thing is this though. Like,
people,
you're moving nuts. I can't lie.
No, I'm just saying that you get how graphic this is though.
There's about 8 Ys in that. You know, there's about 8 Ys in that. I think he broke the most record for the most consecutive
Ys. Broke the record for the amount of Ys.
I think he broke the record for the most consecutive Ys.
God.
Most consecutive.
Answer the question though. Answer the question there.
No. For me, it's not necessarily, and I always say this, and Abs, you probably got tired of hearing me say this. It's not necessarily about Ten Hag. Like for me, the next manager that comes in, I'll be honest with you, my tone, my narrative is going to remain the same. Give the manager time. So whether it's Ten Hag or whether it's the next manager,
that's why we need to stop, Ben. Shall I tell you why we need to stop?
Yeah,
we need to become a sack and hire club.
No. That's my biggest fear. That's my biggest. This is where you lost me now, Saeed. You've lost me, brother.
Okay. I'll tell you why.
You want to become like Chelsea. You want to become like that Chelsea.
Wallahi, guys, let me. Bayern Munich do it.
Go on.
Juventus,
Sell it. Go on.
Bayern Munich do this. Juventus do this. Every top Barcelona did this.
They can afford to do it. You know why they can afford to do it?
Why?
You know why they could? They're a monopoly league. Wallahi, bro. Let's keep it, bro.
No. Just look at the actual premise, though. The premise of sacking and hiring. Yeah. The idea for me is. I give a manager 18 months, right? This is what I'm going to think right now. I give a manager 18 months. If I don't see improvement in that 18 months, right, and it's visibly clear that he's not taking us anywhere and we are literally regressing as a team, I then will say, right, we have to be careful. It's warning signs, basically. And if it's not performing, we have to sack the manager. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that's when, for me, it's like, broski, we're not going to have a long-term manager anymore. This is a 3-year plan at best. If that, manager stay for 3 years. Who's the longest serving manager now in the Premier League? It's Pep Guardiola, right? Who's after Pep Guardiola?
Eddie Howe?
Is it Eddie Howe or Arteta?
I think it might be Eddie Howe. No, it's Arteta. It's Arteta.
Cool.
Yeah.
Arteta could have been sacked in any of the points, by the way, in that first 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And normally they kept him. After that, I think it might be Unai Emery, is it? I think it might be. Thomas Frank.
I think it is Unai Emery. Not Unai Emery. Eddie Howe. In terms of Premier League.
Yeah, Premier League.
Yeah.
But my question is like, we say we're not a sacking club, but ultimately, if a manager is failing and we want to be a serious team and we want to be winning trophies, we want to show that we're on it, we can't just be like, you know what? It has to get to that point.
I agree.
This is where I'm going to start getting accused of being a top red.
Okay, fair enough.
So where they're gonna start saying you're too much of a romantic, but I am. I'll be honest. My thing is, and it's the reason why some people are confused at times because they think, it's like I'm not like Saeed in the sense where it's Ten Hag out all the time, and I'm not saying that you're wrong for having that stance because you've explained it to me many times and you explained it on your channel. You said you give it 18 months after that, you're done with it. No problem.
Yep.
My thing is, me personally, I think it's openly the right of a fan to criticize and the public platform, because we do have a public platform. You should say what you believe, don't hide what you believe. Am I the kind of person that campaigns against a manager to be out? I was backing Oli till the end and it got dark.
Yeah, it got dark.
Oli was dark towards the end, and it was dark at the end of Jose as well. But my thing is, I will openly say if I believe a manager will succeed or not. But my thing is, would I campaign against a manager openly? Probably not. That's just my stance. And people might call me a top bread for that. And do I think United should become a hire and fire team? Again, the romantic in me says I want a dynasty the way that I grew up having a dynasty.
But is it
realistic in this day and age? probably not. We are probably moving more to a thing where we have ownerships, and like Ineos, for example, I believe they'll have 3 to 4 year plans.
Thank you.
That's fine. 3 to 4 years is fine.
Omar Barada said that as well. He said he wants to win a league title by, what was it, 28?
2028.
Hey, so, no, but Abs, that's not fine. 3-4 years is realistic. It's a good enough time for any manager to have a reins at a club. I think 3-4. But what Chelsea are doing is every 6 months, my brother.
But is it
maybe not even 6 months? Well, like, they had 3 managers space of a year.
Yeah, but justifiably. Okay. Let me spin that question. Were they right in sacking Graham Potter?
I felt like, and me personally, I was never convinced by Graham Potter, but in that scenario, he looked like small. Small.
Say.
And Stamford Bridge is a tiny stadium as well. How do you get lost there?
Oh, I know. So basically, we're saying yes, right? We're saying yes.
I think Graham Potter was not fit for the job from day one.
Okay, so we're saying yes, right? So what's the other manager that we're talking about that got sacked by Chelsea?
Pochettino.
Pochettino. Were they right to sack Pochettino?
No. Let's be honest. They weren't right to Abs. Were they right?
Why?
To sack
Why?
My thing,
because I think Poch was showing signs that they were going in the right direction. And
when was this?
Towards the end of last season. The second half of last season, they had the second most points after Man City.
Poch figured something out for sure. He did figure something out. He bought Cucurella inside. He figured something out.
Bro, let's be there. Say I'll call you out there.
Okay. In that period, do you know they drew to Burnley with 10 men and they drew to Sheffield United in that period?
I think that was the first one.
Don't get twisted. There were some horror results in that process, but there were signs they were moving in the right direction. They had
but my issue is Chelsea.
They were starting to play good football.
They went Graham Potter, Poch, Enzo. It's like, if you're gonna give a possession manager time and reins, why didn't you just do that with Potter? And Potter was promised long term. Poch was promised long. The Chelsea's it's a whole different kettle of fish. But in general, I hear what you're saying in terms of they may have made right decisions to get to the end one. But Enzo Maresca hasn't got like a better Premier League pedigree than Graham Potter. This is his first season.
No, I agree. But
I think Enzo, the reason why they get Enzo in is because Enzo maybe they agree with his philosophy, but maybe because he's a Pep student. And if you want the next step, you get a Pep student.
So, and also sometimes wins can paper over cracks.
Go on.
No, but sometimes wins can paper over cracks. You got to remember, they placed a Brighton team. Can someone bring me the results of last season towards the end? Because they played some teams that were on the beach, by the way. They were on the beach and the season was done. And let's be honest. Let's have context.
Maybe you're right. No, you might be right.
There was context behind this.
I think there is context behind it, but I'm saying there were positive signs towards the end. And they well looked like they were moving in the right direction. A lot of people were saying, Chelsea might be a problem next season. And they pulled the trigger on it. Whether it's right or wrong, I didn't think we're yet to find out.
The Chelsea example is in general, we don't want to be like as sporadic as that, because Chelsea were having a lot of issues as well, Saeed. They were having ownership issues. They were having it would have been Tuchel. Don't forget that Tuchel was in charge. And if Tuchel doesn't fall out with Bowley, Tuchel might still be the Chelsea manager today.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of context behind why they hired
Putin's fault as well.
But my premise is that, bro, I don't want to sack every manager that comes in. We want a long-term manager. Oh yeah. Listen, bro. You know what it means for me? I don't want to sack every manager that comes in. I want a manager that comes in and you know what? Like, he does well, and we see some. But when I start to question a manager, I don't think. And by the way, I'm not saying I've got a good track record here, but with Oli, I said Ten Hag out. I said, bro, sorry, Oli out. I seen it coming. From when I seen it, it was time to go. Cool. With Ten Hag, I seen it in that game against Man City when he said tactics, when he took out Varane. That's when I was like, he's done. Well, khalas.
Yeah.
So I've seen something, and sometimes it takes people to see that, and then the downfall happens, and that's where for me I'm like, when you see that crack here, it doesn't have to be 18 months, by the way, but when you see the cracks here,
just to be clear, Ten Hag subbing Varane.
So he didn't play him, by the way. He didn't play him. Yeah, the one way he didn't play him.
Not playing Varane.
Not playing Varane, yeah. That was the one where I said, tactics.